All right, so WNBA All-Star break has finally come and gone, and overall, it was a weekend. It was a weekend. All-Star games in general, whether it be the NBA, the NFL's Pro Bowl, throw the WNBA All-Star game in there, they're all pretty boring around like this time of life. I'm not sure what happened as to when they stopped being like semi-competitive games. Like we see teams play harder in like open gym, kind of like Rico Hines style games, and we see them play in like the nationally televised All Star game where you want to bring in all your casual fans. If you go back on this channel, you'll see me talking about the All Star game from a couple years ago. I probably feel very similar about that one as I do to this one. Like I said, it was a weekend. I guess we'll go through it really quickly. WNBA Friday night had our with the shooting stars, had 3 point shootout, and then that's it. I keep forgetting that there's no third competition. They don't have like there's no dunk contest. Obviously, I don't know why they don't have a one-on-one event. If any league needs to have a one-on-one event, it's the WNBA. Like you guys don't have any of the high-flying action. Like you guys don't have like the get out of jail free card of being able to have Blake Griffin jump over a car or have Jeremy Evans jump over a portrait of himself or people putting their arm. You guys don't have that luxury. So you got the 3 point shootout, which is always going to be exciting, but you got to put some kind of third event. And I think that one-on-ones would probably be a really good way to go with that. But so we had Friday night. We had the shooting stars. Shooting stars basically they're going around shooting at 7 spots. Each spot has a different amount of points. The team that makes the most amount of points before the time runs out wins. It's always a entertaining event. It's like a good appetizer to start off the evening. Like I think it's better in a 3 event setting because at least in a 3 event setting, you kind of got your little appetizer with the skills competition or the shooting stars, and then you got your 3 point shootout, which really like gets the buzz going, and then generally that will carry over to your third event where things hit their crescendo, hopefully, but not too much of that. So Shooting Stars was cool. Was ended up being won by I think it was Team DC, Team Washington. It was a team of Shakira Austin, Elena Deladon, the Mystic legend, and some high school student. And I definitely don't want to disrespect her. If anybody in the comments knows the name of the high school student that was playing with Shakira Austin and EDD, please let me know because she was out there really hooping. She was a really really good player. She hit like I want to say like 3, maybe 4 of the 7 point shots, which is like I think it was like either at half court, maybe like 2 steps in front of half court. She just kept burying them one after another, and she contributed a lot to Team Washington being able to get that big lead and eventually win the competition. Like I said, overall it was nice. They had the coaches in there participating a little bit. Teaspoon, who was it? Coop. I'm forgetting who the coach was. Let me look that up real quick. But they had the coaches involved, and overall it was a fun event. All Star because I just it's not Tamika Catchings. It was nope. Team Spoon, Team Cynthia Cooper. My bad, Cynthia Cooper. Cynthia Cooper was coach of the making the pass on the team, and it was a cool event. Not really too much to get into it, honestly. That carried over to our 3 point shootout. 3 point shootouts, as I've said on this channel multiple times, can never be boring. They just don't have. They are innately just a super super exciting event. People will always love to see people shooting. At baskets, whether it be whether really just I would say more so accuracy competitions as it is, whether it be archery, whether it be like throwing. Soccer challenges we have to hit the targets, 3 point shootouts, anything along the lines where people have to shoot at a goal and you're like doing it for points. That's never going to be boring, and it wasn't boring this weekend either. Ozzy Fudd came out and got that 3 point championship. I think she was the first rookie to win the competition, so shout out to her. She's been getting a lot of flack and a lot of people commenting on it. She was deserving of being the #1 pick and all that stuff the entire season. So at the very least, the girl can shoot the ball, and I think that never should have been in question. I think that if you wanted a reason to say that she's a #1 pick, you could look at her 3 point shooting, look at her defense, and be like, she's a great piece in terms of being able to add that to a contender to make you a championship. Regardless of how you feel about that compared to Olivia Miles, is neither here nor there. So she comes out, she does great. Overall, we have a couple of other good performances. Bridget Carlson, she shot the lights out. Overall, just as good as I want to say it was forgettable. It was a forgettable event. I'm not going to pull up any stats for this because it's really not that serious, but it's just a forgettable event. So Friday night was Friday night, and that led us over to the All-Star game, which took place on Saturday. Team Coop versus Team Spoon. It was a game, dog. It was a game. So Team Spoon ends up winning by a final score of 129 to 122, and it was an all-star game. All-star games aren't super exciting. Caitlin Clark did her thing in the beginning, trying to, make it exciting. She was, chucking threes, hitting some tough shots. And, you could kind of see that the other players, they tried to get involved in there. But I just feel like with how the game plan, or, how the flow of the game goes for the all-star game, it doesn't really allow the WNBA's best players really to be able to thrive. Because the WNBA is a league that is really dominated by their big men. They have a lot of, big women, whatever. They have a lot of guards that are coming in that are drawing a lot of attention, that are going to be really good players in the future. But as of right now, the best players in their league are, mainly power forwards or centers. Asia Wilson, Breonna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, so on and so forth. But a game like this, Aaliyah Boston, a game like this where you have players just running up and down and shooting threes, it doesn't really give those players an opportunity to really get into any flow of the game because we're not running any sets. Like Caitlin Clark for the first, 6 possessions of the game, I want to say she took maybe like 3 threes. There were 3 deep logo threes. They're what the fans came to see, but in terms of being an opportunity to let the other players be able to shine and, maybe set up a semblance of a basketball game. I'm obviously not blaming all that on Caitlin because everybody else was also chucking threes. Kelsey Mitchell was shooting a lot of them. Ryan Howard, when she came in, she threw a lot up. Jonquel Jones was already taking step back threes. How many threes did Jonquel Jones take? Let me see right here. Jonquel took 11 threes. Them bitches was going up. So, that kind of game really suits the guards. That's why you have Caitlin Clark comes out and has a 17, 5, and 4. Olivia Miles almost has a triple-double with 11, 12, and 8. Jonquel Jones ends up winning the MVP, but she played a perimeter-oriented game. She shot 11 threes, made 4 of them, ended up with 22 points. It was cool. It was cool, but it doesn't really give a chance for the Asia Wilsons and the Aaliyah Bostons and the Kiki Irifins and the Breonna Stewarts to really get a chance to go out there and ingratiate themselves and really showcase their talent because Asia Wilson came out and had 12 points. And if you're looking at the game, it wasn't any of the shots that you would usually see Asia take over the course of a game. She literally just was catching it, layup. Somebody missed a 3, get it, layup. It was boring as hell. But shout out to let me go into a short rant that I have here about the WNBA, then we're going to move on to some other things. So the WNBA really confuses me, I got to say. It really confused me because before Caitlin Clark came into the league, before that 2024 class, before all that buzz was generating, they were on a steady progression going towards, growth. But I feel like with them getting this big influx of eyes, getting this big influx of big individual player talent, your Caitlin Clarks, your Angel Reeses, your Paige Bueckers, Ozzy Fudd, if you want to throw her in there, just players that came in with, fanfare, came in with their own fan base aside from, whatever WNBA team they play on. The WNBA acts like a league that has made it already. They act like a league that has already accomplished everything they want to accomplish, and everything that they're doing now is just gravy. And the reason why I say that is because for the 3rd year in a row, and last year, we'll kind of be making an excuse because Caitlin was injured. The 3-point shootout did not feature Sabrina Ionescu, Caitlin Clark, and Caitlin McBride wasn't in it this year. And I just don't understand it. I just don't understand the thought process behind, you have these players, these marquee players that people want to see. Like Sabrina Ionescu's shoe is still one of the most popular shoes that Nike sells, currently. But they don't have her in the 3-point shootout. And, there's been a lot of controversy about, whether they were invited, whether they weren't invited. I think it was originally reported that they all were invited, and they all declined. But then it came out that Sabrina was like, no, that's a lie. I never got an invitation. Caitlin McBride, let me see if I can pull up that Caitlin McBride tweet. Caitlin McBride. Right here. Also, for those of you that are so concerned, I received a half-assed invite to the 3-point contest through my agent in a text randomly 48 hours ago. Not officially so. Posting things like I'm afraid of shooting smoke is weird. And if you didn't hear it from me, props shouldn't believe it. We should focus on the great shooters in it already because there's some killers in there. Good luck to all those participating, blah, 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 blah. So there's controversy there. And the WNBA is always at the foot of controversy. They never can just do something right. Like, there's no excuse for a healthy Caitlin Clark not to be in the three-point shootout. Like, I get it. You can say she declined. Caitlin McBride, you can say they declined. Whatever, bro. You got to do what you got to do to get these players in the three-point shootout. There's no excuse to not get them in there. Caitlin Clark is the biggest draw the WNBA has seen ever. And she's been in 0 three-point shootouts since she joined the league. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. People love Ozzy Fudge. She's got that UConn growth. We got a lot of other players. Marina Mabry was in there. People who have, little pockets of fame here and there. But you got to get your Sabrinas in there. You got to get them competing against a Caitlin, against a Caitlin McBride, against the players that people want to see. Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, I think, has the best three-point shooting percentage in the entire league. She wasn't even invited. So, I'm just not understanding what is the goal that we're trying to accomplish in the WNBA. If we're trying to push the sport, why are we not putting the stars that the people want to see at the forefront of these events? I just don't understand it. And it frustrates me, and then it even carries over to the next day when we get to All-Stars of Saturday, because the WNBA is not in a position where they can come out and play a half-assed basketball game for an All-Star game. They don't have the aerial abilities that the NBA has. They can shooting is the depth of what they can do. You know what I'm saying? They don't even have necessarily the same ball skills as far as ball handling that the NBA players have. Like, Paige Bueckers gets compared to Kyrie Irving. She's no Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, we've seen him do some ridiculous stuff, whether it be in an All-Star game or an actual game, but the WNBA doesn't have anybody like that. So for them to be playing this half-ass game where people are going around and they're, throwing layups up and we're shooting step-back threes. Gabby Williams, I'm pretty sure, I think, shot 3 or 4, one, like LaMelo Ball threes. One leg, going away from the basket, shooting a 3. She shot like 3 or 4 of those. Jonquel was just shooting crazy step-back threes. It was ugly. It was ugly basketball at the end of the day. The announcers kept trying to say, oh, it looked kind of like a basketball game here, kind of like a basketball game there. I don't see any of that shit looking like a basketball game. All that shit was gross, if you ask me. So I just don't understand the idea behind this, because the WNBA is a league that has rivalries that are built into it. You know what I'm saying? Asia and Stewie, Asia and Aaliyah, Caitlin and Olivia Miles, if you want to say that from a professional standpoint, Caitlin and Paige Bueckers, players that you can actually pit together that people actually would want to see in a one-on-one event or in a competitive style 5v5 All-Star game, because you want to see the best players in the league showcase that they're the best players in the league against the other best players in the league. Yeah, it's very cool watching Paige Bueckers come out here and big Lexi Hull, on a Wednesday night, but watching her big Jackie Young would be that much more exciting in an All-Star game. And the WNBA is not in a position where they can just keep rolling out these half-ass, we're just here to, collect a check-ass All-Star games. They still have a lot to prove. And people may disagree with me in saying that, but the WNBA still has so much stuff that they have to prove. And they got to put their best foot forward. They got to put their stars on the forefront. I said it in 24 for the first All-Star game. I don't give a fuck if you got to slide some money under the table. You got to get Caitlin in there. Caitlin, you're about to release a shoe. This is about to be the biggest promotion opportunity for you. Well, obviously not. Let me not say that, because all her games are fucking ass televised. It's going to be a great promotional event for you. And on top of that, you're going to also do something good for the league, showcasing it, be there on All-Star, show that you're a part of the league. All the narratives about you being, to the side and all that stuff will be to the wayside for, 15 minutes, because you'll be doing something here, helping growing the league, promoting yourself, da-da-da-da. Like, whatever the league needs to say to be able to convince Caitlin that she needs to be in this competition, they got to do it. Same thing with Sabrina, same thing with Caitlin McBride. If it's as simple as you need to go ahead and do better invitations, because it seems that these players really care about that. Even in Sabrina Ionescu's message, she also was saying, I didn't really receive an invite. I got a half, whatever. You know what I'm saying? WNBA players are weird, bro. Y'all can't be out here just following these, what you would think to be normal protocols, bro. Get them in the competition. Let that talent shine. Man. So overall, it was an event. It was a weekend. It was cool. It's over. I'm glad that the games are about to start up soon. I'm actually going to end this video here. I was actually originally going to talk about the Indiana Fever's season coming up, the rest of the season coming up, or, their season to this point. But I'll talk about that in the next video. So go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Deuces.